If you enjoyed this video, consider supporting us on Patreon for just $5 a month. Click on the card in the upper right-hand corner for more information.
Hey guys, this is Julian. I just wanted to let you guys know that I just put out a pretty long podcast with my friend John over on his channel. We discussed music business and how to grow your following when you're first getting started via Facebook, building an audience via Facebook groups, and how I did it and how I've gotten to the place that I am. I'm going to play a clip from the podcast, but if you're interested in watching the whole thing, you can click on the link in the upper right-hand corner to do so. So I hope you enjoy. I think if you can impress other musicians, then they start to kind of, oh yeah, he's doing something cool. So then they start supporting you, and as you start to get support from them, then you start to garner other support elsewhere. I joined this group called EDM Producer Network. We were talking about this before the podcast. Essentially, I just added a ton of people that were doing similar music to me. And I think I was posting videos of like, this is what I'm working on, guys. This is what I'm working on, guys. So I was a freaking kid at the time. And I think by the time I put that EP out, people started to kind of like, oh, he's doing cool stuff. I'm going to listen to this. And it was largely because of that Facebook group and like Facebook groups of that era where I would just add people that were doing similar music. And when you start to garner their attention, then you can kind of start building on that. And then you have this, I guess, people that respect the music you're making. And then from there, you build other fans.
Yeah. So let me ask then about the EDM Producers Network and stuff like that. You are in the communities. I'm guessing you're also actively participating in those communities beyond yourself. And I think that's a point that being in enough Facebook groups, I see plenty of people that are in there, and then it's they all of a sudden emerge when they've started something, and then they regress back into the shadows until they have something else that they want to throw at people. So I also just didn't want to skip over that because it's you're posting your own stuff up, but it's you're in there, you're commenting on other people's stuff, throwing in ideas, contributing, giving feedback, or you're a member of the community,
it's very easy to be annoying in that scenario. Nobody likes to get spammed in a DM or whatever with can you listen to this, bro? Can I get feedback on this? It's no, chill out. I kind of adopt, I know you're a fan of Gary Vee, the jab, right hook mentality, where if you give enough, then people start to care enough to either buy what you're doing or, in this case, listen to what you're doing. So back then I was just I was really excited about music anyway. So I was oh, that's really cool, man. This is what I would do and change, or this is how I would approach that song. And I was giving so much feedback that I was getting attention as far as oh, he gave me feedback, I'll listen to what he's writing. And then if you're writing good enough stuff, then people start to kind of oh, I really like what he's writing. I'm going to continue following him. And I think that's where I really started to grow. And that's where the first, few hundred followers came from, is just other musicians.
Just one by one, just picking them up.
Really?
Yeah.
But I think even to this day, that's how it is. I pick up a fan or two every day. It's more building a relationship with every fan individually, and I think that's the best way to build actual fans, and not some number that likes your page after the song comes out, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a really important concept. And I remember, do you listen to the Tim Ferriss podcast?
I don't.
Okay, that's fine. Finally, a piece of content we don't both take in at the same time. But in the Tim Ferriss show, he had one of the founders of Airbnb on. This is related, I promise. But the guy who founded Airbnb with his buddy, they did a lot of stuff that wouldn't necessarily scale in order to scale. Right. And very similar to what you're doing. And what they did is, after they got their first handful of hosts, they flew out and hired a photographer in each city that they had a host in to come over. They met each host, hey, nice to meet you. I'm the founder. What's up? What can I do? How can I make this better for you? Here's a photographer. We're going to spruce your place up, take the best photos. And of course you can't do that once you have, a million hosts hosting. But then each one of those people became the like evangelical fan of Airbnb. It's like, holy shit!
You're building the community essentially. The family of like they treated me so well that I'm like you're almost subconsciously indebted to them.
Yes, I am all about that subconscious indebtedness. Yeah. Like that's part of like what
it sounds really like
this is. It sounds very scummy and very like. But fascist or like I'm trying to
it
like,
doesn't have to be that way, you know?
Yeah,
like
it's an offer though. That's the important part is like then at the end of the day you offer them something and if they don't want it, it's like cool, like I'm still gonna give you more.
Yeah.
And
if you offer enough, then people start to be like, oh man, he's helped me so much. And then when you ask for help, that's the Gary V jab, 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 right hook book is based on that. And I learned a lot from that book.